Oh, here it is, folks. Here it bloody is. The biggest game of the competition. Two heavyweights who've been waiting in the darkness. It's Colombia. It's Uruguay. It's next. That's right, folks, back once again with another preview video. Today we're previewing an absolute cracker. It is Group C winners Uruguay up against Group D winners Colombia, and they're locking horns for a spot in the Copa America final. Who will get it? We'll get into it in all of it in a second. If you're new, where you been? Smash your subscribe and one-stop shop for Copa America is right here under one rooski. We pretty much know what's going to go on in the other semi-final, but this one is wide open. Anyone's guess. The bookies haven't even got a clue. You guys don't even have a clue. We'll get into all of that in a minute. Just so, of course, smash the like, smash the subscribe. Your one-stop shop for Copa America is here. Big shout out to the VIPs. They are the patrons. You know who you are. But let's get cracking and have a look at these two nations as they come up for the biggest game they've had in donkey's years. That's right. We're talking about Uruguay. We're talking about Colombia. And we're coming at you this coming Wednesday. Of course, Uruguay. Been here 45 times in the past. They've won it a record 15 times. They could meet fellow 15-time winner Argentina in the final, which could set up an absolute banger. Goodness gracious me. But they're going to be relying on Bielsa Ball, who's been the key man in between in the dugout. Valverde, the star man on the field. They were in Group C with their odds at 4-3 on to win the group, 20-1 on to qualify from that group, and to win the thing 5-1. Prediction was semi-final. This is the stage now. Of course, ranking 15th in the world according to the FIFA standings as of recording. Let's take a look then at their resume. They started, actually been pretty faultless throughout. 3-1 win over Panama on opening day. Followed up with a 5-0 demonstrative job of Bolivia, scoring 8 goals in this first 2 games combined. They followed up with a narrow but successful 1-0 win over hosts the USA to set up a 3-3 qualification phase. They then faced heavyweights Brazil, first real challenge of it, you would say, and they took care of business. 0-0 in the end, penalty shootout victory. They rose up their game, they stood up to it, and they took care of business, knocking out Brazil along the way. They now set up a crunch clash against Colombia to see if they can go through to a final. But these are the personnel that will be calling upon from Uruguay, the likes of Roche between the sticks, Jimenez, Olvera, Cáceres, Bentancur, Valverde. We got Ugarte, we got Suarez, Nunez, Pelestri, you name it, they've got it, of course. But what about 11? Well, we're going to go with this starting 11 for Uruguay, and it looks a little bit like this. We have Roche between the sticks, Matias Vina, Sebastian Cáceres, we have Jose Jimenez, Ronaldo Arialo, Federico Valverde, we have Manuel Ugarte, Maximilio Areulio, Nicolas de la Cruz, Facundo Pelestri, and Darwin Nunez. Oh yes, that's the lineup, but what about their opposition? Well, they come in the shape of Colombia. That's right. Colombia ain't no slouches, guys and gals. They're here and they're here. They've been the star of the show. I'm telling you now, they're the star of the show. Been here 23 times. They've only won it the once. They need to change that record. They're a humongous footballing country. They need to change that and get a couple of more wins under their belt. This is a perfect time to do that. Anyway, Starman, well, the dugout king is the Néstor Lorenzo. Starman, Luis Diaz. With Group D was the venue where they had odds 11-4 to win it, 7-2 on to qualify, 12-1 to win the whole thing. Prediction was quarter-final. How shambolic was I? They were expected to take on the USA, who I thought had something about them, but really, that's a story for another day. 12th in the world according to FIFA rankings. That's high, guys. That's high. A win here could push them into the top 10 and win the whole thing. You never know where it goes. But this was their resume. 2-1 win opening day against Paraguay. Followed that up with a 3-0 win over Costa Rica. And they took on Brazil in a winner-takes-all encounter. But a winner could not be decided, so it was a draw in the end. But Brazil topped them with that goal difference, well, Brazil also drew against Costa Rica early doors. They also followed up with a 5-0 win, a real showboat performance against Panama to set up a crunch clash against Uruguay. What could have been a final, really. It's going to be a banger. It's going to be a classic. But what about the star men? Well, these are the star men, guys, coming at you from Colombia. They have Ospina between the sticks. We have Cuesta. We have Yeremina, Davison Sanchez, Carrascal, Rodriguez, Uribe, Quintaro, Asperilla. We have Sinisterra, and of course, James Rodriguez, the key man in midfield. What a swan song he's having. But what about the lineup? Well, let's take a look at my lineup for you. It looks a little bit like this. We have Ospina, Morica, we have Yeremina, we have Davison Sanchez, we have Daniel Munoz, Jefferson Lerma, we have Matias Uribe, Luis Diaz, James Rodriguez, Juan Arias, and Rafael Santos Bor. That is my lineup. probably nowhere near the real lineup. But what about the game itself then? It's going to be a banger. I am, of course, cancelling all plans to watch this one. It's at the Bank of America Stadium, Colombia, with Lorenzo in the dugout. Uruguay with Bayelsa in the dugout. 2 Argentinians in the dugout. It looks like we could have a 2 Argentinian final with Argentina in one side and the winner of this side. They have played each other 17 times since 1992. Is that correct? Or was that even 1962. Goodness gracious, my eyes are deceiving me. 4 wins for Colombia, 9 for Uruguay, 4 draws, of course. Colombia, 92% form for them right now. They got an unbeaten streak long as my arm. Up against Uruguay, also 92% form for them right now. 5 wins on the bounce. Looking A-OK. The most recent match between these two sides back in October 2023. Guess what? It was a 2-2 draw. We'd love a little bit of that action, wouldn't we? Of course, the last time an out-and-out winner between these two was back in November 2020, where Uruguay came on top with a 3-0 win in Colombia. I think you're going to go back to 2014 World Cup. Last 16 match, it was Colombia coming out on top against Uruguay. That was the last time they were victorious. That's, of course, the state of play in the form. But what about, of course, the state of play in the bookies' eyes? Well, the bookies are going to go 15-8 is your Colombia, 7-4 is your Uruguay, 90-10 is the draw. That might even be false. That might even be false, guys, because I think I looked and it was pretty much even Stevens between these two guys. So it is so close, and it's so close between the bookies. It's also not so very much close in between the public vote. 66% going with Uruguay, Colombia at 34. The vote is still 6 hours old. It is very, very young, but you know, that's the bookies. Are they siding with those as well? It is quite tight in the bookies, but the public vote seems to be overwhelmingly so with Uruguay. What have they noticed? Bayelsa ball has been something special, but what about me then? What about me on this one? Well, I have been impressed by both these two nations, and I'm very happy that one of them will be going to the Copa America final, and hopefully whoever wins out of this one, they'll have another supporter in me, because I would love to see one of these nations come out on top. Because I'm sick to the back teeth of Argentina or Brazil winning this competition. I would love to see Uruguay or Colombia, especially Colombia, who have been in the shadows for so long. But ultimately, my gut says it will be a victory for Colombia. I'm going to back them. I think they've been fantastic. The results against Panama really kind of turned up, got my ears up, put my ears up a little bit about them. And I'd love to see James Rodriguez go out in a blaze of glory and take a little bit of silverware with him. I don't know if it is his swan song, but it feels like it could be a swan song. He's been ripping up trees this tournament, and hopefully he can do it one more time against Uruguay to take this Colombian team to a final. That's my take, guys, and that's, of course, my opinion. Let me know yours. We'll be back for, of course, the final, whoever it will be. We expect to be Argentina and somebody, but we could be completely wrong. But until then, subscribe, smash the like, catch you later. But until then, we are done.